It's no secret that this pandemic has manifested discrepancies in everybody. Um, you know, it's taken a toll on employment, financial strain, jobs, relationships. But what Group B decided to tackle was the mental health crisis that has conjured itself in the midst of this pandemic. So the problem is, like I said, the pandemic has caused a huge new slew of problems in mental health that we just haven't seen before. It has increased in the last 8 months, and we wanted to delve into how to combat the pandemic blues. The need for this is finding ways to combat our declining mental health is crucial in getting through the remainder of this pandemic. It's already been tough enough. It doesn't look like it's going to be over anytime in the near future. But there's already enough daily stressors that we're dealing with, and COVID stress and COVID mental health issues shouldn't, be as prevalent as they are. Fighting a battle with your own brain chemistry really just shouldn't have to be another stressor. So, implementing kind of small changes to combat the deterioration of mental health could help lower depression and anxiety just in general. So, my three solutions, one was online therapy, and in the original grid, we narrowed that down to an 8.8. Websites like BetterHelp and Cerebral, they offer affordable online therapy that includes phone calls, video calls, and unlimited texting. However, both of these, websites, they are upwards of like $60 a week, which is about $240 a month. And even if you have like a discount code or whatever, that's still not financially feasible in the grand scheme of things. But, if therapists that weren't affiliated with these websites were to move to virtual sessions and just doing their co-pays as they would in the office, which is usually anywhere from $20 to $40 to $50, and you don't have to do it every single week. That would be on like a as needed basis, so that would be a little more feasible. The downside is that therapists and counselors, just like the rest of us, are struggling, whether that be clientele, finances, whatever. And it might not financially make sense for them to do this kind of service. My second solution was group therapy. In the original grid, this had a 10.4 rating. From a financial standpoint, if more people sat in a group Zoom session, they could split the cost and ultimately just be cheaper for each individual person as opposed to one-on-one. AA, NA, and other like anonymous groups, they're moving to virtual sessions, and they are free. It's a service that's been free. But going to that kind of service and setting could be beneficial for other people not in AA or NA or stuff like that. The downside is that not everyone wants to air their issues and grievances in front of other people. It would be just a specific kind of subset of people that want to participate in a group setting. And my third solution was social media therapy, and this is actually the one that made it into the final grid with a rating of 9, but in the original grid it was an 8.2. So most people that are seeking therapy during this time most likely already have a smartphone or access to the internet, whether that's a laptop, tablet, or desktop, or whatever the case may be. Some libraries are staying open, and you could even go access it there. It is free to access YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, where a lot of mental health professionals are actually creating content to cater to those who are seeking some sort of help. This takes the personable aspect out of therapy, and this takes it out of that equation, but at least they're getting some sort of productive content from something that's already such an integral part of our lives. And then, so narrowing it down, we started with a big master grid and narrowed it down. And so the Ronald Reagan home workout plan is what we decided on. And Reagan scored a 7.4 and Ron scored a 7.6. The only reason that his scored a little bit lower was because he implemented routine, where Reagan's was more at your own pace. But since they were so similar, we decided to just make them one category, and their final grid rating was an 8. And then Dylan's, we went with the Wilson plan, which was walking around malls and doing music therapy. This rated a 12 on both the original and the master grid, and the reason that it scored lower was because we need cooperation from malls, which we might not be able to get, and it's a little more on the unorthodox side. It's not as traditional, but the effectiveness we thought was a great idea. Music, walking, all that. In the Marianne's meditation, it got a 12 on the original grid and a 9 in the final. We thought, there's no wrong way to meditate. It's pretty feasible. The reason is it's stigmatized in Western culture, and people might not be as keen on doing that as they would more traditional outlets. But, taking 5-10 minutes out of your day to just focus on your breathing, it's not a bad idea. Fringe benefits. So for music therapy, you get exercise and get some cardiovascular, and that's good for your physical health as well as your mental health, and you can release endorphins, and you're seeing people, you're socializing distantly, walking around the mall or whatever. The meditation, like I said, intentionally taking time out of your day to focus on relaxing your mind creates a calmer psyche, which gives you more mental clarity to deal with the daily stressors on top of COVID stressors. The at-home workouts, obvious physical benefits, cardiovascular health, endorphins are released, you're just generally in a better mood. That's just proven. And the social media, since we're already on our phones, we're already following people, we're already going, flipping through, kind of trying to drown out the noise of the world. Flooding are already present perusing with productive content could create a ripple effect, and the more you like it, the more the algorithm caters to you, in that sense. So in general, there is a high need for this. It is important. Mental health is important. This pandemic and the repercussions are not going away anytime soon, and you have to find a way to cope with it. My hopes are that no matter how you choose to, it can create some sort of mental homeostasis to where you feel like you can tackle the things that this is bringing to you. No matter your resources, social status, all of these options have a lot of ability for anyone to find some comfort and eases your mind during this crazy, unprecedented time.